Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show, man. Happy Saturday. Today is April the 4th. We have just 3 games in the NBA for today, but I'm trying to be consistent. I'm trying to show up. I'm trying to break them down and give you guys what I'm looking at in every single one of them. So let's get right into it. As far as yesterday, hated the card yesterday. I gave you guys what my thought process was on every game. The short list was not a good short list, though. I think it was like 2, 4, and 1, I think is what I had on the list. You saw all the big favorites just cover, absolutely, demolish the dogs, the big dogs yesterday. Just get smoked yesterday. So injury report kind of threw it off a little bit, but regardless, it just wasn't a good show yesterday, and I'll take that on the chin. I didn't end up making a play yesterday. Just kind of ended up staying off of everything yesterday. So I didn't win anything, didn't lose anything, but I know that the short list was not good yesterday. So let's jump into it for today. We start off with Jackson, NBA sports betting tool, AI sports betting tool, linked in the description of the video, of course. I asked Jackson today, and Jackson, I think, went 2-0 yesterday because Jackson liked both favorites. The Celtics minus whatever that crazy number was, 16.5, I think it was. And then the Atlanta Hawks minus the 16.5 or 17.5, whatever that number was. Both of them won the game by 30. So 2-0 day yesterday for Jackson. Today I asked Jackson for the best total bet on the board using last 10 game advanced stats per clean the glass, situational spots, injury reports, and trends. And Jackson likes incorrectly priced NBA totals in the market for today. Jackson likes the under between the Wizards and the Miami Heat, under 244.5. It says that the market has set this total at a staggering 244.5, largely influenced by Miami's number 1 ranked pace and Washington's league worst defensive rating. However, this number fails to account for a systematic shift in the Wizards' offense of personnel. They will be entering this matchup tonight with a catastrophic injury report. No Trae Young, no Anthony Davis, no D'Angelo Russell, no Ken Whitmore. These 4 players represent a vast majority of Washington's shot creation and scoring gravity, which I would disagree with that because they haven't played in quite a while. But getting back into it, it says without Young's elite playmaking and Davis' interior presence, the Wizards' 29th ranked offensive efficiency is projected to plummet. While Washington plays fast, they are historically inefficient, ranking 23rd in effective field goal percentage at 53%. When a bottom tier offense missing its top 4 scorers with the Heat squad that ranks 5th in turnover percentage, meaning they won't give Washington extra possessions, that the likelihood of both teams reaching 122 point mark required to clear this total is statistically improbable. So there's some other stuff here as well, but that's the first one. I'm going to give you guys a side as well. So I asked Jackson, based on last 10 game advanced stats per clean the glass, situational spots, injury reports, and trends, what are the top 2 spreads that are incorrectly priced in the NBA market for today? And the first one says the San Antonio Spurs minus the 1.5 against the Denver Nuggets. It says that the market has installed the Spurs as a slim 1.5 point favorite, but the advanced metric suggests the line is far too low. San Antonio is currently the hottest team in the NBA, posting a league-leading plus 17.3 net rating over the last 10 games. This is a staggering plus 8.8 improvement over their already elite season baseline. Conversely, while Denver has improved their efficiency gap, they've been a nightmare for bettors, covering the spread in only 30% of their last 10 games, a minus 23.4% ATS delta. The statistical mismatch lies in the Spurs' ability to dominate the possession game. San Antonio ranks number 1 in the NBA in tip win percentage, 76.3%, and 3rd in defensive rating, 110.0%. They're facing a Nugget squad that, while efficient offensively, ranking 1st in offensive rating, has struggled defensively, ranking 21st with a 115.9 defensive rating. And a matchup between the league's most improved defense and a bottom 10 defensive unit, the Spurs 1.5 point cushion is a clear mispricing here. So there's more stuff here as well, going into some of the injury report stuff. But yeah, Jackson likes the it likes the Spurs minus the 1.5, and it likes the Miami Heat and the Washington Wizards under the 245.5 number. So yeah, check it out if you guys are interested. I know that there's big Final Four games on tonight as well. So if you guys are interested in using it for Final Four stuff, you can as well. Let's jump into it for today, man. So first up, we will go to the Washington Wizards and the Miami Heat game. and I'll be really, really brief. I'll just give you guys what I had in my notes on this one because, of course, these big spreads are hard to bet. And what makes it even harder to bet is when the injury report is also kind of being manipulated. So the reason why I said it is because the Wizards do have Trey Johnson and Bilal and Sarr listed as questionable. None of those guys are, going to move the needle in a big way. But if all three of them play, it definitely will change, the landscape of this game, especially if you have Sarr, to at least contest down there a little bit with Bam. We know that Bam had 83 points the last time that these two teams played. Maybe Washington comes out, play with some pride in this one. They haven't been good in this role. 14 and 24 ATS on the road in general. Only 4 and 6 in their last 10. It's also the first leg of a back-to-back. They got Brooklyn tomorrow. They've lost 4 in a row. They've lost 9 of their last 10. The last 3 have actually come by 19 points or more on the losing side. So it's a spot where you typically just want to, fade Miami, fade Washington, but the odds makers won't let you just, randomly, like you just gonna have to lay a super big number. So Norman Powell is also out with an illness on the Miami Heat side of things, and Tyler Herro's listed as probable. So Miami, they only 3-7 in their last 10 games as well. It is the third straight home game. They just gave up 147 to Boston 2 nights ago after beating Philly. And they're 8-2 to the over in their last 10. They've had no problem, winning and covering against this Washington team so far this season. They've won and covered both. The first is a 13-point road favorite. They won by 31. Then the Bam 83-point game where they won 150 to 129 as a 15.5-point favorite, won that game by 21 as well. So a 21-point win and a 31-point win. I did look at Miami as double-digit home faves. The 6-0 straight up, 5-1 against the number, win by average of 16 points on an average of -12 line. They've covered 4 in a row, all wins by 16 points or more. They should be able to get the job done here. Washington on the other side, 12 and 20 ATS when they're getting double digits on the road as a dog. Just 3 and 9 ATS in their last 12 in this spot as well. So a couple of things. Well, one thing I really looked at in this game, and from a player prop perspective, I kind of think that we see like a pretty big offensive game from Tyler Herro. This team shares the ball really, really well. And one thing that's been kind of profitable to play is Tyler Herro over his assist prop, especially when there's no Nolan Powell, because he'll have more usage. So if we go look at Herro real quick, I thought this number was a tad bit low, 4.5, and I like that it's not. I mean, it's used on a couple books, but you can still get some really, really good odds, which I feel like should be gone. So Tyler Herro, you can see, over his last 10 games, his assist line set at 4.5. You can get it at plus money, you see. So he's over in 5 of his last 10, 2 of his last 5, 2 of his last 4. But he's coming off a 7-assist game against Boston. The potentials are, in my opinion, there. You can see these here. So if we go full season, which is where I always start the handicap off at, you see that he's only over this number in 11 of his 30 games, 37%. But if we go games without, we take Nolan Powell off the floor. And now he's over in 3 of 12. So it doesn't get too much better, but we got to remember Washington allows the second most assists, which you can see right here highlighted. And I think looking at his matchups against them last season, if we take this off, we go here and we go head to head last season, we can see that he had 6 and 5 as well. So I do think Tyler Herro's in a really good spot. But I think you kind of got to wait for the injury report if you want to play the side or the total. In my perspective, Miami has been giving it up a lot lately. They haven't really been stopping anybody. But Washington's offense is not great, and they play on the second leg of a back-to-back tomorrow. So that's that game. Felt like I talked about it way too much, honestly, but that's that one. The next one is San Antonio-Denver. Game of the day by far, right? Best game we probably will see. Today and maybe even tomorrow too, honestly. So the Spurs are laying a 1.5 here in Denver. And excuse me. I just want to double check real quick. I didn't see when this line popped last. Well, I think I did see it, but I just want to double check real quick and see what we were sitting at yesterday when this came available. Yeah, so 2.5 is where the number was. 2.5 is where San Antonio was laying. So the money's actually come in on Denver in this spot. You can still see some 2.5s, but most of this is down to 1.5 or 2. And it's a very, very interesting game, man. Very, very interesting game. I actually want to take you guys over to the Money Baller. And if you guys are interested in learning how to handicap the games really, really quickly, looking at all of the stuff that you would need, you definitely want to check out Money Baller. So this is Money Baller. We go up to the top. We can see, the game is here, San Antonio and Denver. So I'll leave the screen here for a second, but I want to go through my notes for this game, and then we'll go through here. So we know that the Spurs have been good on the road. They're 29-11 straight up on the road, which you can see that. I'll show you guys that in a second. 23-13 against the number. This is 3rd and 4th and 6th, though, but not for Wemby, because Wemby didn't play that last game, of course, when they beat the Clippers. It's the last of a short 3-game road trip. And on the Denver side of things, they've been, good at home, 24-13 straight up at home. Of course, just 18-19 against the number. They don't really cover numbers. They just want to win games, but not really cover numbers. That's what Denver does. And because of that, they're only 3-7 ATS in their last 10 games as well, which you can see right here. The Spurs have been really, really good, specifically in the first half. We've been cashing this. We've been talking about it a lot. 9-1 against the number. This is 7 straight wins for the Denver Nuggets. And then the Spurs are on a 14-game win streak. I think it's 14 games right now. San Antonio won the first meeting back in Denver, 139-136. We can see that right here. It took place a couple days after Thanksgiving. Game went over the total, cleared 275 in that spot. And this was a game without Wemby. Wemby didn't play in that game. San Antonio, getting 7 points as a road dog in that game, was able to get the job done. And then the Nuggets went into San Antonio back on the 12th of March, so a little less than a month ago, and got the job done without Wemby. This was the game that Wemby sat. Last time that the Spurs actually lost was in that game as well. So you look at both of those. Both teams have split so far. Both games have been without Wemby. So it's crazy to think, right? This is what I want to get to. So if you just look at the, all the advanced metrics, last 10 games, you can see that both teams has played against a pretty easy strength of schedule. Highlighted that right there. 29th for the Spurs, so second easiest, and 27th for the Nuggets, so fourth easiest. Both of these teams have been really good offensively, first and second. Defensively, Spurs middle of the pack, 15th. Nuggets bottom tier pack, 25th, right? Adjusted net rating plus 15.3. plus 7.2. So the Spurs, in my opinion, should be laying a few more points in this game. I feel like the Spurs, should be laying a few more points in this game. Adjusted pace, you can see both teams, top 6. Spurs 6, Nuggets 4th. Both teams want to get out, play really, really fast. I'm looking through the game, and immediately my thought process yesterday was, man, why don't we just go ahead and take the San Antonio Spurs? I mean, they've been absolutely crushing it, trying to catch up with OKC, which I don't think they're going to do that, but trying to win every single game down the stretch of the season. Denver, of course, we know that they have something to play for as well. They are in 4th, right? I think they're behind the Lakers somewhere. I don't know where Denver is, but Denver, I think this game means more to the Denver Nuggets. Them being a home dog in this spot kind of makes me think that they can win this game, man. I'll tell you guys a couple things I looked at. And if you've been watching the show, for a long time, then you'll remember this trend from earlier in the season. I looked at short road favorites, just like psychology of the line. Like short road favorites, laying a possession or less on a 10-game winning streak. No, I just told you guys, it's a 14-game winning streak for the Spurs, but 10-game winning streak, just 16-23 straight up, 14-25 ATS. That's 36% all time is what these road favorites that's laying less than a possession that are on a 10-game winning streak, what they typically do. This trend has been active 4 times this season. The last 3 times, it's been good for the short road, for the short home dog. It's not been good for the short road favorite. About a week and a half ago, we saw OKC laying 2.5 in Boston. They lost that game outright by 10. They won a 10-game winning streak. Then we saw the Spurs laying 1.5 in the Garden, and this was the game that I referenced. They were laying 1.5 in the Garden, lost that game by 25 points. Then back in Detroit, they were laying 2 in Boston. They lost that game outright by 3. So the last 3 times we've seen this trend, those road favorites have not done well in this spot. I looked at Denver. They're only 3-2 straight up, which I mean is profitable, but 3-2 straight up and against the number in their 5 games this season where they've been a home dog that Jokic has actually played in. But then I wanted to check something else. I wanted to see how Denver did as a home dog this season with Jokic and with Aaron Gordon in, because we know that that's when they're, are at their best. You have to go all the way back to last season to find the Nuggets as a home dog with Jokic and Aaron Gordon in. They're actually 8-0 ATS in their last 8 games that they've played. And this goes all the way back to 2022. If the Nuggets have been a home dog with Jokic and Aaron Gordon in, they're 8-0 ATS. And a lot of those are playoff games. I think Denver plays this game like a playoff game today. For that reason, I like Denver plus the 2, man. I think they can win the game outright in this spot. If I'm playing a player prop, it's Jokic. And I'm not even going to pull this up through Outlier. One of the things I looked at was just like games that are, where they're projected to be a dog or not like a big favorite, right? So they're laying 2 or getting, 5 points. I just looked at Jokic points in those games, and you talk about, he's killing it. He's averaging 31.5. I know he has a tough matchup with Wemby, but, potentially gets Wemby in foul trouble in this spot, right? Like, there's a lot of things that could happen. It looks like Jokic is over in 3 straight games, 4 of his last 5 as well. He's gone over his 26.5 points. He had a 38-point game in here against the Knicks, a 31-point game in here against the Clippers, a 56-point game in here against the Timberwolves as well. So I'm looking at Jokic over his 26.5 points. I do think the game's going to be played with pace. And I always talk about wanting to fade Jokic in those games where he doesn't really need to score the basketball. I think he will need to score the basketball in this spot. The other thing I'm looking at in this game is I'm looking at Tim Hardaway Jr. three-pointers. And the reason I'm looking at Tim Hardaway Jr. three-pointers, I actually will bring this one up, and I'll show you guys what I'm looking at, because this one is a little more difficult. Jokic as a home dog, just take his points. That's what I'm pretty much seeing as far as the first handicap. He'll need to score the basketball. So if we go back away from Tyler Hero, we go look at Tim Hardaway Jr. I know he's listed as probable. He left that last game, only played 10 minutes in that game. But he is supposed to play in this one. I like Tim Hardaway Jr. three-pointers in this spot, man. I think he's going to be really, really active. In the way that the Spurs play defense, that's the shot that they're going to give up. You're not really scoring down there in the paint with Wemby down there. So 2.5 threes makes a ton of sense, in my opinion. I think that he knocked down 3 threes today. So one thing I looked at, you can see that he's been, shooting pretty well. This was the game that he got hurt in. And the minutes have been, pretty consistent as well. So Denver does have the rest advantage in this spot. If we go look at just full season, Tim Hardaway Jr. is over his 2.5 threes in 50% of his games. Averaging right at 2.83 made three-pointers is what I'm trying to say per game. So if we go here, we put his guys in, right? We put Aaron Gordon in. We put Nikola Jokic in, because that's when he's going to get those. They're going to generate those wide open looks. We put Jamal Murray in. We put Nikola Jokic. Where is Jokic? Okay, we put Jokic in, and now. Still just 48% of the time, but this number goes up to 2.9 threes. And we can see recently, most of these post All-Star break, right? Since Jokic came back, this game here would be the first one, in March, before we go all the way back to November. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 game sample. And we're looking at only under in 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6 and 4 to the over, and he's knocked down 4 threes or more. So 2.5 seems like a nice price, in my opinion. I think if I close this and go back to the Money Baller, and we just look at the last 10 games for the Spurs, we know how good they've been defensively, with not giving up a lot of stuff at the rim. But if we go here, look at the Spurs 3-point attempts allowed. They actually bottom 10 in 3-point attempts allowed. I think, in my personal opinion, that he has the best value on the board. Tim Hardaway Jr. does, and he's going to be the guy that's going to be able to knock down these 3-pointers today. So I know I said a lot, but I like Jokic points, 26.5. I like the Denver Nuggets in this spot. No, it sounds crazy, and I could be crazy. We'll see how it goes. And I like Tim Hardaway Jr. to hit 3 threes in this game as well. So those are my thought process. That's my thought process on that game. The game of the day. It needed a big breakdown, right? And then last but not least is Detroit and Philly, which I don't have too strong of a look in this game, just because I need the injury report to kind of clear up. I'm pretty sure you guys, if you're paying attention, you probably saw, all the news about, like Joel Embiid not even knowing he was going to play until it was tweeted out. Like, he wants to play. Like, I'm not sure what they're going to do with him if they're trying to save him from himself and, just trying to make sure he's ready for the playoffs. I would think that he wouldn't play on the second leg of a back-to-back. But then on the Detroit side, of course, they're without Cade. I don't think Isaiah Stewart is coming back for this game. I could be wrong. Let me just double-check that real quick. I know Isaiah Stewart will be back soon. But he's still listed as out. There's Marcus Sasser is probable. And, of course, there's no Cade Cunningham. So Tobias being listed as questionable is meaningful in this game, in my opinion. I know that they have some guys, Devontae, Green off the bench and, Ron Holland, and they got some guys. Detroit's been good on the road as well, 25-12, straight up on the road, 21-15-1 against the number on the road. They've covered 7 of their last 10, but this is fourth in 6 nights. They do have the rest advantage by 1 day because they were off last night, played a really tough game the night before that. Philly, of course, playing second leg of back-to-back. It's also 3rd and 4th and 6th. All of their starters played 35-plus minutes last night except Dominique Barlow. And they haven't been good ATS for whatever reason at home, 17-21-1, but they have been good in their last 10, 7-3, won the game against Minnesota last night, of course. From a situational perspective, one thing I wanted to look at, I looked at teams that were playing 4th and 6 with no rest, coming off a win as a one-possession home dog. They only win 42% of the time and cover 46% of the time. So that says Detroit should be able to get the job done here. The total is going up. Maybe that's, kind of predicated on Joel Embiid being listed as out and then Philly playing a lot faster. Paul George has looked really, really good. I wouldn't imagine that Philly is too fatigued in this spot, even though it is the second leg of a back-to-back. They played against some really, really easy cupcake opponents like the Wizards, and I think they played the Nets recently. Like they played against some really, really soft teams. So I say all that to say I want to get to Philly, man. I really want to get to Philly in this spot, especially if Tobias doesn't play. I think Philly just wants to win every single game. Not that Detroit doesn't, because Detroit's been really, really good. But I don't know. I kind of want to get to Philly in this spot, man. We'll see what happens with the injury report. Got to wait for Tobias. Got to wait on Joel Embiid, unfortunately. Got to wait. This is the waiting game that we play in the NBA for today. So real quick, as far as recap goes, before we recap, y'all do me a favor, hit the like button for me, share the show if you can. Going back to the recap page, and I talked about all of these, right? Tyler Hero, Denver. Tyler Hero assists Denver, and then Tim Hardaway Jr. Over 2.5 3-point makes. I'm not gonna put anything up as far as the first 2 games as far as side and total goes, because I'm not sure if those players are gonna get ruled in for the Wizards or not, and if the players are gonna get ruled in for for Detroit and Philly. I need to see what's gonna happen with Embiid, see what's gonna happen with Tobias, but. Best of luck, man. Whatever it is that you guys are betting. I do appreciate everybody for supporting the show always. The resources, as always, are linked in the description of the video. Make sure you guys check those out if you need them. Jackson, Outlier, Moneyballer, and OddsJam. And that'll be it, man. Big card for tomorrow. NBA does kind of, it's the suckiest of the suck right now. But it's still always ways to try to make money. And I find myself, trying to dig even deeper when I got to handicap the games a way that I'm not, really used to. But there's tons of money to always be made, tons of markets to be open, and try to find some value. So always trying to do that, man. Best of luck on your action for today. Y'all enjoy the weekend, enjoy your Saturday, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.